If you've lived in Australia, you've probably heard the term black, intentionally misspelt. Who needs spelling anyway? Surely that's just another tool of the colonialist patriarchy designed to keep us in line. For example, there are often headlines using the word. The Conversation recently reported, "I feel I'm making a difference. How black women are working to build safer workplaces." Or SBS, "Black women shine at the National Indigenous Sports Awards." Or National Indigenous Times, "Celebrating the power, pride and purpose of our young black women." As you can see, it tends to be black women that dominate the media spotlight. Black men, on the other hand, tend to be in jail. I'm joking. Although, if you look at the statistics, it's a joke that's grounded in some pretty uncomfortable reality. According to the latest Australian Bureau of Statistics prisoners data, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander prisoners accounted for 37% of all prisoners, of which 89% are male. Although black men do make the headlines if they meet certain criteria, see if you can work out the theme. For example, SBS Enthused, "Meet the queer black rugby team taking on the Ella Sevens." Or this one from the ABC, "Bizzi Lavelle uncovers the hidden history of black burlesque in Australia." I don't know where to start. Of course, if you aren't a burlesque dancer or a queer rugby player, you can still find regular black men in the news. For example, Aboriginal artist Blak Douglas, who liked the misspelt word so much, he used it as his name. He famously won the Archibald Prize for painting a portrait of another Indigenous artist in 2022, as the ABC noted. $100,000 Archibald Prize goes to portrait of Wiradjuri artist Carla Dickens by Blak Douglas. And of course, there's race-based camps that use the word, as the National Indigenous Times announced last week. 9 First Nations artists participate in Blak Camp 2026 residency. White people not welcome. Obviously, with any of this, if the opposite happened, it would be considered highly racist and bigoted. Imagine this headline: "Come join White Nigel at White Camp to learn how to paint white people." This, of course, would immediately make national news on the ABC with the headline, "Dangerous resurgence of white supremacist workshops sparks calls for urgent government intervention." But for some reason, Blak Camp is perfectly fine. But the real manifestation of this racial obsession in Australia is the existence of so-called black ticks. Thank you to the viewers who sent in a lot of this info. Much like the racial categorisation systems of the early 20th century, the idea is very simple. As the Melbourne Theatre Company put it, black ticks are discount tickets available for people who identify as being of First Nations descent. Yes, in modern egalitarian Australia, discounts are applied based on one's racial identity. It's a curious way to celebrate equality by reintroducing the very racial hierarchies we spent decades trying to dismantle. Let's say you want to purchase a ticket for the upcoming comedy drama Shoelace Chaser. If you want to book for the 15th of May, a full general admission ticket will cost you $62. Don't worry, if you're a pensioner, it will only cost you $59. If you're a poor university student, it will also only cost you $59. But if you're a First Nations identifying person, a single black ticks will only cost you $29, less than half the full admission price. This is apparently how modern-day Australian equality works now. It's not just the Melbourne Theatre Company, everyone seems to be doing it now. This is the National Communication Museum in Hawthorn. On their general admission page, we can clearly see the racial pricing index in full effect. Adults, $24, concession, $18, and black ticks, $12. Only children get it cheaper at $8. But if you're trying to get that discounted concession price, you'll have to show proof. You'll need to flash your government-issued ID or a student card to save those $6. But interestingly, no such condition exists for black ticks. or even at one of Australia's most iconic buildings, indeed the world, the Sydney Opera House, racial ticketing prices have been implemented. For example, the Sydney Symphony Orchestra, although they don't use the word black, they do have something called mob tickets, which is essentially the same identity-based racket. All I have to do is enter the promo code 26MOB and then a nice little discount will apply in the cart. Well, I say little, but as we'll soon see, it's anything but. Let's say I'm interested in seeing Mahler's Sixth Symphony. I select the upcoming April 9th performance. As you can see, this particular adult seat costs $124. Oops, I almost forgot to apply my 26MOB promo code. I do that, select the same seat, add it to my cart, and just like magic, or should I say black magic, the price magically reduces to $15. That's a massive 88% discount purely for having the right racial bloodline. It's an amazing feat of identity-based engineering, a bizarre blend of corporate virtue signalling and blatant racial favoritism that some people have the audacity to call equity. And that's how Australia is defeating racism, one black ticket at a time.